Hello, the Happy Pear.
All right, Faye.
How's it going? How are you both
Cool
doing?
studio.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, so for anyone who's just watching, the studio is looking out in the beautiful English countryside. I feel like I'm in a Jane Austen movie and we're in this beautiful ambulance that's kitted out that's just yum. And we're drinking Duncan's elderflower cordial.
Look at that.
With great gratitude in our hearts.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
You guys are giving a talk, aren't you, shortly at
Yeah,
Vegan
yeah,
Camp Out? What are you going to talk about?
We're talking about less unhappy. So rather than going how to be happy, we thought let's just turn it on heads, how to be a little less unhappy.
Oh, I like that.
So that was really just, you know, when modern society, there's so much, it's challenging, like it's demanding, there's so much expectation, so much social pressures. So it's like, well, how can we together discuss how to be, acknowledge that the norm is not to be jubilant all the time, but how can we build some pillars within our life that we can be happier?
Oh, that's lovely.
So that's the theme, yeah.
Yeah.
You're intriguing me, David, you're intriguing me. Yeah, well,
You
that's
are.
the idea.
Is that something that you've kind of both looked at in your lives, like just kind of worked at things and looked at how you could just be happier and...
Well, I think ultimately, like, we have 6 kids, not together, but between us.
That would be weird.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as anyone who's a parent or has, you know, siblings, that all you want for your family really is that they're happy. And I think ultimately that's all that anyone wants in this wonderful adventure called life. And I think the more we can unravel it, and it's like happiness doesn't necessarily mean jubilant, I'm so happy, oh my God, it's incredible. But more there's a contentment and a kind of
within
satisfaction with life.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can we, what pillars can we all try to support one another to have so that we can all have a happier life?
Yeah, because if you look at kind of the, you know, most people living in city, like there's a comfort trap. There's the trap of comfort of modern life. Like we've evolved for 99.9% of humanity where life was hard and challenging, and now it's like, you know, there's so much, it's challenging because our biology has predestined us to a certain way where we're expected to move to make us feel good and eat natural real food and be roaming outside, whereas now we spend so much time in concrete jungles and indoors against our biology. So it's
and it's almost like we're engineering movement out of our day. It's like you don't have to move your hand to brush your teeth. You don't even have to turn your head to reverse the car anymore. Like there's more and more, you know, of our life is set up to be sedentary, which doesn't work for our happiness.
No, it doesn't, and it's why people keep getting sick, isn't it? And poorly,
of
and
course.
I think it's an important conversation.
I like that word poorly that you use in the UK.
Poorly.
It's gorgeous. He feels poorly.
what do you
She
say
feels
in
poorly.
Ireland? What do you say?
Sick.
Sick. You're sick.
He feels crap.
I feel awful.
yeah.
Interested. So, I mean, you guys, you've done so much. You've got a great cookbook that I was sort of having a look at. Look all about the vegetables and everything. And
Yeah, well, this is our 20th year in business.
Wow.
So back in 2004, we started a veg shop to kind of as the centre for our food revolution. So it was really about how can we create a ripple. We had become plant-based a few years before that, and we realised that we needed to build a community around it. So we started a veg shop as our own kind of focal point to attract like-minded people in, and that became
And
cafe
the goal
food.
of it was to create a happier, healthier world and build community, which sounds very cliched, but 20 years that was like quite different and quite edgy.
Yeah.
And the business has grown in many different ways, where we've a cafe, we've a bakery, we've a farm, we've a veg shop.
We've sold 15 million vegan products and 500,000 cookbooks, and you know we've
an app
been
and
at it a
recipe
long
club
time
Wow.
to kind of
supports
influence to try, and the whole thing, we've got a farm now. The whole thing is really to support people to eat more veg and make
be
healthier
healthy.
food choices.
That's amazing, and it's obviously done really like wonders for you too as well, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's been the best adventure ever.
amazing.
You know, and it still is. You know,
Yeah,
it still
yeah.
is. It's a constant adventure.
Do you get excited, you know, when you talk to younger people as well, kind of coming up? Do you see like people changing and wanting to kind of go back to that community, or?
Yeah, well, you can I think you can see it in two hands. You see some people are drawn towards it, but you see a lot of people in pain, and it's not until, I think people don't really change until they've reached enough pain that they're like, and very often it's unfortunately disease, a state of disease, that they wake up and, you know, you meet people that say, I had X, Y, Z, and it was so hard, but it's the greatest thing that ever happened to me because it woke me up that I wasn't living in alignment with where I want to be, or prioritizing what you need to, because it's so easy to get lost in, you know, the 4 false gods of happiness of money, power, fame, and pleasure. You know, they're the 4 false gods of happiness, whereas I think the bedrock is really about food, movement, community, and prioritizing relationships. And, you know, people are looking for superfoods like turmeric and kale, but I think joy.
I do
and
yoga. I do
Yeah.
yoga.
joy and laughter and hugs. Like, those are the ultimate superfoods, you know. So
It's true, isn't it? Especially, you know, when you go back to COVID and people are isolated, and you know, for those living alone, I didn't realise I was living on my own. I was like, God, I've just missed hugging my friends.
yeah,
It's such a
yeah.
basic thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think although we live in a more digitally connected society, where, you know, if you look at the UK in 2018, there was a minister for loneliness at a governmental level, because it's such an epidemic and it's so bad for our health. You know, we're meant to be in community. We're meant to be supporting.
And that's why these events are so important, because it brings like-minded
Such a
people.
beautiful event.
brilliant,
The
isn't it?
sun shining, what makes it just magnificent.
Oh, it's great. I mean, that's how it was in the olden days. You know, you'd have these sort of villages and people would sort
Yeah,
of
fest.
have you, almost like your tribes, but then you'd
Yeah.
meet and invite others.
Meet
in.
other
The
tribes.
harvest festivals, it was all that
Yeah.
type of stuff.
Yeah, it's almost
Yeah.
the pagan ways now.
Yeah.
Something in it. So is this the first time you've ever been to vegan camp out, or?
We were here a couple of years ago, and it was really super fun. We arrived and we just got flown in from Ireland, so we were just bringing carry-on, so we didn't bring a tent, but we managed to bring sleeping bags, so we just slept in the corner of the field and our sleeping bags under a tree, and had great crack.
And the weather was glorious.
Yeah,
like,
crack means fun. It's
Oh
the
yeah,
Irish
yeah.
word
Don't
for
worry.
fun.
I was like, yeah, it doesn't kind of tie in with your healthy
Yeah,
eating and
yeah,
things, does it? No, that's lovely. It's grown a lot as well, vegan camp out, because
Oh
you know,
my
obviously
God,
a few
it's
years
really-
ago.
Yeah,
it's
I
just
heard Robbie said he
expanded.
was the first. Robbie, a friend who used to work at Plant-Based News, Robbie Locke, he was saying that he was the first one 12 years ago, and there was 300 people at it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
That's-
it's,
So it's a really lovely event. You know, Jordan who runs it, fair play to him.
Yeah.
It's a real passion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I mean, what was it like? You know, when you first decided to go plant-based, were you both in Ireland at the time, or?
Yeah, we were both in different parts of the world at the time. I was in
Yeah.
South Africa training to be a golf pro. I was 21, and you were in Whistler in Canada. You know,
yeah, I
training to be a
finished. I
snowboard
guess I'd
instructor.
finished a degree and masters in college, and I'd been sold the idea that if you make loads of money, you'd be happy, and that didn't quite sit with me. So I went away, you know, traveling, trying to, you know, it was pre-social media days, so it gave you more social fluidity. You could go and, you know, I'm Stephen and I'm from Ireland and I'm interested in music. Yeah, music. You know, it gave you more. So I found out I was fascinated in food, and I found out when I went to Canada first, I went to Whistler, and I remember I didn't have money, but a fella let me sleep in his apartment I'd met, and I was sleeping on his floor, and there was a fella from Australia called Adrian, and I met him, and he was cooking dinner, and he was cooking something with beans and lentils, and I was like, what are you cooking? Wow, geez, what's all that? And he told me he was vegetarian, and up until then, like, we went to all boys schools and we've nothing but brothers. I'd never met a man that was a vegetarian. I didn't know men could be vegetarian. So I was like, wow, you're a man and you're vegetarian. Wow. And I was like, can I eat what you eat? So I ate what he did for a couple of weeks, and, you know, it was a windy few weeks. But it was from that day on, that was it. It made so much sense, and I guess I went from vegetarian to vegan, and then it was raw foodist, and I was fasting.
But I think we got, it was like, you know, the way some people get into it for different reasons, and for us, I think health was one aspect of it, but then kind of it took us a lot longer to be able to articulate it retrospectively of why we were doing it, but it felt like it would just it was the intersection of so many aspects of life, that you've got, you know, ethics and morality, you've got spirituality, you've got economics, and, you know, there's agency. There's so many aspects that your food choices do that people don't realize, and for us it was.
And if you think about it, even over human evolution, 99.9% of human evolution, we spent our life looking for shelter, involved in food, and spending time together. And nowadays in modern society, very few of us work in food. We've outsourced the building or construction of our house, and most of us live isolated lives. So it's no wonder many of us are lacking purpose and are feeling somewhat disconnected. And I think food choices, or growing your own food, or being involved in food is
It's great.
really
isn't it?
nourishing. Really.
Even when I moved to Bristol, there was like a 2-year waiting list for an allotment.
Wow.
And you're like, that's across, you know, all the different parts of the city, and you're like, that's great in some ways, because it shows that the demand's
Yeah.
there. So there's
Wow.
people like
Yeah,
setting
Sean
up
here,
it.
he grows, he's got a veg patch and just loves it. And it's such fun chatting about veg. And oh my God, my tomatoes, and I've got
Yeah.
orange ones, and I've got, it's just purple ones.
I got excited by growing a little, what was it, chili plant.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was like, they've gone red from green. They were green for
and the
like a week.
difference when you grow something, you don't
Yeah.
waste it, and there's such a connection and joy, and there's a relationship with the plants, which I think it feeds us as humans. And
Appreciation.
nowadays you look at kind of people like food, people we're so, as a society, we're so disconnected from our food, and there's such an opportunity to really fill ourselves up and reconnect in a way that, you know, we're looking for outside of ourselves in other ways, but there's such opportunity with food and growing and cultivating and forming a relationship with people that grow food, you know.
I like that. It's kind of soothing for the soul, isn't it? It's
Ah,
taking
it's-
it back.
it's like
to
coming
what you
home.
need. Yeah.
Well, we remember
coming home.
we're not human doings measured by our ability to be productive. We're measured. We're just, you know, if you look at a baby isn't seeking, you know, it accepts your love, and it knows it has this intrinsic value. Versus modern society, we're all trying to prove ourselves and look at me, I'm great, I'm wonderful, love me, appreciate me. But ultimately, if we can be more like a baby and just accept,
Appreciate
yeah, I
it
think it's
and-
beautiful. And I think also, we're going
No,
all over
it's
the
great.
place.
Go for
Last
it.
one. But when we're involved in food production and we can, you know, appreciate, like, for example, your chilies coming and, oh my God, they're green, and you taste them. There's this appreciation, and I think it's appreciation makes life richer
Agree.
and makes us enjoy our life.
Oh, that's lovely. So what have you guys got coming up over the next sort of couple of months?
Jeez, we got invited onto the Today Show in the States.
you?
So we're going to America. We're
Oh
going
my
to
gosh.
America. in
Go to
September.
America.
We're
You
going
guys-
to America for the
On the
first time
boat.
in
We
ages.
go on the
Oh, wow.
boat.
I know we're getting a plane.
Gonna go
But we're going on a TV show there to go, you know, do
That's
cooking. So
huge.
that's a big
And
show.
we've a
That-
book coming out in October. And we've product launch.
Well, we're
in the UK.
launching products in the UK, which is amazing. Super, super exciting.
Oh, brilliant. Tell us a bit about them. Go on.
So we've got granolas and pestos, and they're
They're
gonna-
all vegan and they're
they'll
all.
be, all plant-based. As I said, we've sold 15 million of them in Ireland, so they're
Wow.
super popular in Ireland, and we're so excited to share them with people in the UK. And then we've got a whole health tribe, where we've
What
got
is
an
that?
online community where we, you know, we've got a recipe club and whole health tribe, and we do one-on-one coaching. So there's, yeah, and they're all the same thing. It's all to get people to eat more veg. So all the outlets that we do are all, it's just simple, eat more veg. They're all different gateways to the same message.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. I can't wait to see you on the Today Show. That's
Yeah, that'd be a
fun.
laugh.
such a big
Yeah.
show. That's going to be
Yeah,
fun.
should be funny.
Oh, lovely. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much
Yeah,
for
yeah,
chatting
thanks,
to us
Faye.
today. And
Yeah.
good luck with your talk.
Cheers.
You
Thank
won't
you.
need it, but yeah.
We'll have a
Thank you,
laugh.
Faye.